Hey guys, Coach Keith Keppner here. I'm going to show you the war map of the ring. With boxers, what I have found is that people know a lot of different moves. They know a lot of different techniques, but they don't necessarily know them in their entire context of how it relates to you and your opponent in the battlefield, which is the ring. So we're going to go through that with a visual demonstration that I found to be very effective and very powerful to help people get the concepts, because you can hear the ideas but not truly grasp the concept. So therefore you can actualize it and put it into your game and have it help you either do better in sparring, win more fights, or help you get to that higher level that you're struggling to get to right now. Now, why should you listen to me? My name is Coach Keith Keppner. I've been a professional amateur boxing coach for 15 plus years. I've taken guys from complete level, zero, never putting on a pair of boxing gloves, to elite levels. I was coached as a fighter and mentored as a coach under my father, Doc Keppner, who's a professional boxing coach for multiple decades, and he was coached as a fighter and mentored as a coach by Chuck Bodak. And Bodak worked with over 50 world champions and was also the Olympic coach for Muhammad Ali. Let's talk about this war map. You are the red, your opponent is the blue. And no, there's not three of you. That just represents some basic places that you can be. The yellow right here is representing their essential kill zone, where they can let off both of their hands effectively and easily. Now, of course, you can have people that can hit you off of weird angles, and it can happen. But generally, this arena is the arena that is going to be their kill zone, where they can get off. Now, of course, everything in boxing is trade-offs. When you enter into their kill zone and you're right here, guess what? You also have all of your punches and they have all of their punches. And there's ways to nullify that, better defense and things of that nature. But let's talk about some general concepts that you can take into your next sparring session or into your next fight and succeed even more than you are right now if you already are succeeding. Now, generally, people say don't attack straight down the line. But of course, the contrary to that is that the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. If you're a shorter boxer, like I was, you have to be able to come in straight sometimes. Now, does that mean you just run straight into punches? No, there's many other tools you have. You have shields, like your hand in front of your face to catch uppercuts and straight punches. You can use head movement as you attack. As you jab, you can protect your jaw a little bit with your shoulder. All of these things go in holistically to be a full fighter and allow you to attack in straight. Now, if you don't have those tools, then you won't be able to take the shortest way to attack and the shortest entrance, and you'll have to find these other ways. But generally, this is effective. Now, when you're there though, what do? When you're there and you've launched your attack and you're done doing what you're going to do, don't just stay right there in the kill zone. Ideally, the best thing is to not either go back right out, so now all they have to do is step forward and now put you into their kill zone. The best thing to do, the simplest thing to do, once you get off and once you get done getting off and you're going to take a little breather and set up again for another attack, is you're going to jab out and off to the side. And so this allows you to now be here. So now this boxer in blue has to reorient themselves and go after you. They have to do two things versus one thing. If you go in straight and attack and then jump straight back out, now all they have to do is go a little bit forward. But now when we do this, the blue guy has to reorient his aiming and then also move to get after you. That's what makes it so effective. And then again, if you're doing that with jabs, they might be running into your jabs. So it's double trouble. That's why that move or style or technique, strategy is so effective. I have a whole video called Multi-Jab Strategy. If you haven't watched it before, make sure you check it out, because I really go in deep in that for like an hour talking about it and showing it and things like that. Now, another way to attack, don't underestimate the power of that simple attack, because the beauty is in simplicity. Complexity seems sexy, but it's not. Complexity can sometimes actually be stupid. Now, another one we can do though that I like is and it's also fairly simple, is that if you're going side to side, if you're doing a little bit of lateral movement, again, out here in the green grass where they can't hit you unless they come to you. Now what you're doing is you're getting off of this line that people talk about, and you're making them have to reorient where they're aiming. And while they're reorienting where they're aiming, you're able to launch an attack. So for instance, you go over here, they reorient to aim and prepare for that attack, and then now you attack this way. Make sense? And then, of course, they have to reorient when an attack is happening, makes it hard for them to throw. And then before they can get off, ideally, we're going to exit out and off to the side. That's one. Another one to think about in direct relation to this is feinting that we're going to move off to the side. And again, that accomplishes the same thing of a reorientation to the side and allows you to attack straight down the line. Another powerful one as well. Now, when we go in an attack, we can also make them reorient there, as demonstrated by these two other red guys that could be you when you do that. Now, your reorientation doesn't have to necessarily be that far, because the adjustment of throwing is really only the size of a glove, meaning that your feet, to make someone adjust to change aim, only need to move about the width of your head for them to have to reorient where they're throwing, specifically for straight punches and uppercuts, but even for hooks. But it can also be quarter turns. So when we go off to the side here, that's going to get us out of their general line of fire where they can throw both their hands. They can maybe get you with some type of odd shot from here, but generally to hit you, they're gonna have to reorient to some degree. And then again, you are off the line, you're well off the line. Now, the trade-off is that yes, you are off of their kill zone line, but it limits what you can do, what you can throw until they reorient to yourself. If they stay like this and stay oriented facing this imaginary guy that's not there anymore, then in this moment, if you do it quickly, I've done it quickly and I've had guys do it quickly, you are limited now to only straight left hands on this side and right hooks and right uppercuts, largely, and straight rights as well. But you can't do the left hook here, because if they stay facing this way, that's a behind the back or behind the head shot, and that's illegal. You will get called for it, all right? So very important to remember that, and then vice versa. If you're over on this side, remember, you now have the right hooks, the right uppercuts, and you have more so the straight lefts, again, until they reorient themselves to now encompass you within their full kill zone, which would then allow you to get off all the shots that you want to get. And the beautiful thing is that, let's say you go over here and you get off some of those shots, like I talked about, let's say like a right hook, right uppercut, or straight left. Then you go back over here, you start your attack again, and now they're only oriented over here. Now you have your left hooks, left uppercuts, and straight right hands. Make sense? All right, now, of course, ideally, when we attack in either the straight line, or we get them to reorient themselves slightly so we can attack in now where we're not right in their kill zone and right in the crosshairs of where they're shooting. Then when we're done, like I said, we jab out and off this side, or you can just cut a hard angle either from this vantage point or straight from here around. It will take a couple steps circling around. So now we're here. Now when you're here and they turn around to reorient themselves, you can crack them, or just use that as a way to exit out and restart your attack. Remember, a boxing fight is a pretty interesting thing conceptually, because it's a whole lot of mini fights, right? Each round is its own fight in essence, and then the judges combine those rounds together to determine who's the winner. So it's whoever wins the most rounds. Of course, that's something that people, general and casual fans, even people that are pretty big time fans, but they're just not very well educated, seem to not get. That's why things like the copy box numbers don't really mean that much. They're suggestive, but they're not conclusive. Because if you and I are boxing a 10-round fight, and in the last 3 rounds, I land 50 punches on you, and you manage to take it, not get dropped and everything else, if in the rest of the fight, I only landed 0 punches on you for the rest of the rounds, then you could very have easily won the fight by landing more punches in the previous round. So the end result would be I got 50 to your, let's say, 40 punches, but I only landed those 50 punches in the last 3 rounds, whereas you won the rest of the 7 rounds. Guess what? Unless there were knockdowns and things like that, you won that fight. But everyone's going to cry, or some people, uneducated people, are going to cry and complain. Say, look at it, man. Keith landed 50 punches to his 40, punches. What the hell? Like, it's a clear winner, right? It's data. It's data. It's not real data. It's junk data. Data alone is not powerful. Good data is, but there's also such thing as junk data. All right. Now, remember as well that the last thing we can think about is making them change and come forward to us, which will allow us to get off our attack. So therefore, by some backwards movement, it can make them reach out further, and then we can attack essentially right from this vantage point and go after them. So that's the last thing to think about. But again, I'm keeping it super sweet, super basic, because the beauty's in the basics and the power's in the basics. And the more you can get that down and realize that leverage is going to be in a few things versus many things, the more effective you will be as a boxer, the more success you're going to have with anything. All right. Now, this is the same type of stuff that I go over with the people that I work with on my custom program that you can get through Patreon. Work with people all around the world, and we break down different concepts like this, but then also we do this with actual tactics as far as the training goes, the techniques and everything else, and then as well as their fights and their sparring. So if you feel like that would be helpful, go ahead and check that out. And then also as well, my book is out if you haven't seen it already. Make sure you get yourself a copy if you haven't already. It's on Amazon. It's called Ringside Secrets, 66 Strategies to Outthink and Outfight Your Opponent. And the last thing is, if you want to take your passion for boxing and you want to either maybe have like a side hustle with it or turn it like I did into a full-time income and profession, then I can help you do that and scale up. I've scaled up multiple gyms, opened up gyms in 3 different states in the Southeast, and I know everything that can happen, could happen, so I can allow you to see around those corners. But then also, if you're struggling with the business or with your practice of being a boxing coach and you want to earn a better living, I know a lot of the levers that you can pull that are simple that'll get you to the next level. All right, and also make sure you click like, subscribe, comment below, let me your thoughts, and look out for the next video.